Back to school season is here, and while some kids are excited, others may already be feeling anxious. So how can parents help ease those first day jitters and make the transition a little smoother? Our next guest, Dr. Tara Chalakani, has the answers. It's always great to see you, Doctor.
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy to talk about this important topic.
It really is, because it happens every year, and I feel like sometimes it gets a little worse. So as parents, if our children are nervous about going back to school, what's the first thing we should do?
So the first thing we should do is check ourselves, because our children take the cues from us. Yeah. And I think sometimes parents fall in the traps of asking questions. Yeah. Are you scared? Or are you worried about your new teacher? And we need to change the narrative, and we need to be calm. If we're calm, they'll be calm.
Exactly.
And perhaps changing the questions to, what are you excited about? Or, you know, you're going to meet so many new friends this year. Right. We set the tone.
Right.
And we will never, ever completely remove school anxiety.
Right.
But we can teach our kids to understand it and deal with it.
So you talk about even just the wording when we start a dialogue with our children. Don't ask too many questions, but it's the natural instinct. I know myself as a parent to want to know, anything to get into their brains and figure out what they're thinking. So how do we do this? How do we change this dialogue?
So it can be questions like, how do you feel about starting a new grade? Or what's one thing you're looking forward to? If we're positive, they'll be positive. Yeah. And I think parents are anxious. I speak to parents daily, and a lot of them are like, oh, we're going back to the routine. So if they're dreading it, and if they're, relaying thoughts about, oh, it's so much work, or back to homework, how do we expect the kids to feel?
Exactly. They are just parroting what we say.
For sure.
Okay, so worst time to have this conversation is the night before, I would think. How far out? How should we sort of time out when we begin this dialogue with them?
Now.
Yeah.
Now is the time.
Yeah.
Everyone notices it's getting a little darker, a little earlier now, so moving those bedtimes up, maybe an hour, will definitely help. Sleep always makes us feel better and less anxious.
Yep.
But if we set the tone and create schedules, children thrive with predictability.
Yeah.
So if you start getting back into that routine, maybe waking up at the same time, you'll wake up during the school year.
Do a practice run. The dry run.
Absolutely, and I highly recommend that, because parents need that too, especially if kids are moving up a grade, changing schools, maybe they're starting an hour earlier or later.
Right.
Let's do a dry run so everyone knows what that's going to look like. The night before is not the time.
No, that's the exact worst time. Yes. Okay, so how can you tell if your child is having any major anxiety and it's not just nerves about going back to school?
Sure. So I would say little tells, a lot of questions, maybe too many. They're acting concerned, they look worried, maybe they're not sleeping well, they're not eating the way they normally do. But the #1 symptom of anxiety in children is irritability. So if they're crankier, maybe giving short answers, when the teens are given a little attitude that parents don't like, check in with them. And it's never a bad thing to check in with the pediatrician, get that back to school physical, and mental health is primary care as well.
That's
so
right.
Having a therapist or checking in with one cannot harm, it can only help.
Fantastic. Always great to see you.
Thank
you so much. Chock full of wonderful information. You can follow Dr. Tara on Instagram. Check out her Well Off podcast as well.